Hi, I'm Mary Kay, and welcome to Fireside Chat. Tonight we're talking about communicating in crisis.
Hi, I'm Greg, and I'd like to introduce our youth leader, Claire.
Hi, Claire.
Tell us about yourself,
Hi.
Claire.
Thanks for having me. My name is Claire, and I'm recently graduated, but a year ago, and I'm going into the Navy.
Wow,
So,
the Navy. Very nice.
Thank
Class
you.
of 2019.
Yeah.
Now, class of 2020, they can't meet or have proms or graduate, can they?
No.
Well, I have heard recently on the news that they're trying to plan in July to have one weekend be the prom and the next weekend be the graduation for the schools in Florida at least, and I hope that's true.
Yeah.
Well, we've seen many crises in Florida. We're in hurricane country, of course.
Right.
And I remember during the hurricanes, my power was out for 2 weeks, and boy, was it hot.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, mine was only out for like 3 days, but it was hot. I even camped out in my yard because the house was so unbearable.
Goodness.
That's why
Yeah.
she's going in the Navy. She can camp out.
Yes.
So it's a survival.
I'll leave that to you. Yeah, I don't remember camping out, and I don't remember the heat, but I do remember not being able to charge my cell phone. And my daughter's in Pensacola, so I was really concerned about being able to communicate with her and my granddaughters to make sure they were okay. So I sat in my car, charged my phone. It took a little while, but it worked because at least I had access to a working cell phone. What happens if we don't?
Exactly why we're having this chat tonight, folks. If the grid goes down, you can always use your push-to-talk old-fashioned phone,
Right?
which you can plug in your modem if it's working, or you can plug it directly into the
Yeah,
wall.
I actually have a
If you
landline.
have a landline. That's one option. Another option is a CB radio, which truckers use. They have a
Right.
range of about 3 to 20 miles.
Right.
But your best option is a ham radio or an amateur radio.
Okay.
I got mine on Amazon today. It was about $50 to $80, and this is the $80 phone.
Well,
It's not a phone, it's a radio, but it acts like a phone because it can operate when the grid is down and there's no power. Because the
Okay.
guys that you mentioned, the repeaters, have batteries. It's all battery operated. So you can communicate in groups or individually through ham radios. Let's take a look at a video that we did yesterday with Cameron. Hey, I'm here with my buddy Cameron, and we're talking about this new radio that I bought. So Cameron, I just got this new radio on Amazon. It's a ham radio. It's a Baofeng 82 HP. I paid $80 for it. It sure looks like a walkie-talkie, but it's not a walkie-talkie. Tell me what a walkie-talkie is and why this is different.
Well, a walkie-talkie is typically that thing you would buy at Walmart for $20. You know, they operate on legal citizen band, not citizen band like trucker radio, or citizen bands like GMRS. Do you know what that stands for?
General Mobile Radio Service.
You got it. You got it. Those ones you can operate them without a license. This one can talk to Walmart radios as well, but it also can do ham radio bands, and that's what you bought here. This is great.
So I need a license to be able to speak more than a mile or two, right? I can talk to my relatives if they're close by, but if they're anywhere more than a mile or two, there's something called a repeater. And if I have a general license or a technician license, I'm allowed to use, the FCC allows me to speak to other people.
Right. Basically, if you have your technician's license, you'll be able to utilize the local repeaters. And what a repeater does is it listens to your broadcast and then rebroadcasts it at a power that radio is not capable of. And the reason you need a license is all about power. The FCC wants you to have a license if you're going to be transmitting at anything more than 1 watt, say. You know, and that's where repeaters will transmit anywhere between 20 watts to 100 watts.
So in an emergency, I want to get one of these and give one to my relatives if they live, say, if I live in Orlando and they live in Tampa and I want to talk to them, I'll just get my general license, which is only 35 questions. You get approved by the FCC, and all of a sudden you're a ham radio operator.
Right.
So this radio, Cameron, tell me what some of the features are.
Well, they're right there on the box that you're holding. It's an FM radio, so you can listen to your regular emergency broadcasts or even music if you'd like. An emergency alarm, so that way you can send an alarm to anybody else who has the radio on the same frequency. It's a flashlight, And it's almost like two radios in one. It's got two buttons there, the selectable single or dual PTT button. It's got two, so you can transmit on one frequency or transmit on another. It's like holding two radios in your hand.
Now, if I'm out in the woods and I want to know like a weather radio, or if I want a GPS, I have to buy a better radio than this, right?
Yeah. These don't typically, they don't have GPS receivers. Now, what I brought with me to show you is this is a much higher quality one than that. It's a Motorola, and this one can be hooked to a GPS receiver. I actually have one in my Jeep, a mobile radio that does 50 watts that has a built-in GPS, so I can send my location to anyone I please. And I can also send it to a repeater in the area in the woods.
So you can basically talk all over the world with all the repeaters that are out there and available, because you've been doing this a while.
Yeah.
So you're in a group, and this group that you have is for protection of the members that are in the group, and you all communicate with these ham radios during an emergency. And an emergency might be what we're going through now, a pandemic. But what if it's worse than this? What if the power is down, like in a hurricane? We've had many hurricanes here. We've had tornadoes. We've had a lot of emergencies where you guys will come together and protect each other.
Well, we're a peaceful group, first off. A lot of people, there's a stigma as far as prepper groups or citizen action group that we're all itching for anarchy. Well, that's not true. We would rather a peaceful resolution, and during times of peace, during times of, we haven't seen martial law or anything like that in this country in our lifetime. So during, say, hurricane, like in Irma, for example, my group was out there helping people. We were pulling people out of houses, getting people to hurricane shelters. And
so that if there's a hurricane, you guys can warn people what streets are open, what stores are open.
Exactly. Well, yeah, we were, like I said, during Irma, we were using these radios to notify not only our members, but other groups out there that which roads were passable, which roads weren't. We'll have a unit out there communicating who doesn't have a chainsaw that the road's impassable because of trees across the road. And ham radio made that possible because the cell towers had been knocked down. We didn't have any cellular capability for probably 20 miles.
So I recommend that everybody go and get yourself a ham radio for $80 and get started. Cameron, thanks for being on Fireside Chat.
Thanks for having me, Greg.
That was so interesting. I love hearing about things like that because I remember back in the day, a lot of people had ham radios. I didn't know still that people did,
Well, communicating in crisis, there's always been crisis in the world, and God has always covered us, right?
Right, absolutely. That's the great thing about God. We're talking about communicating, and God communicates with us. And I know sometimes we think, I don't hear him, I don't know how to understand God. And really, the way God communicates with us is through his word. His word is him, and he is his word. And so if we will read God's word, and I know sometimes it gets confusing, we're not really sure what things mean, but the more we read, the more we will understand. And also that takes us into communicating with each other. Right now we're in a position that we typically aren't in. Husbands and wives are home all day together. Mothers and fathers are home all day with their children. How are we communicating with each other? Are we being kind to the people that we're closest to right now? Are we sitting around a table having a meal together at least once a day? Or are we frustrated and at our wits' end? What are we going to take out of this? What kind of communicating are we going to do? And I think it's so important to know that God wants us to be kind and communicate well with the people that we love and the people that we come in contact with. And knowing him and knowing who he is a huge part of that. And the Bible is such a great communication tool, especially during this time of crisis. If we know in whom we have believed and that he is not the author of confusion, then we're going to be settled. We're going to be okay. We're going to be confident in knowing that he's got a hold of us. Yeah.
I've been the one to shake with fear and wonder if you're even here. I've been the one to doubt your love. I told myself you're not enough.
I've been the one to
try and say I'll overcome by my own strength. I've been the one to fall apart and try to question who you are.
You're the one who conquers giants. You're the one who calls out kings. You shut the mouth of lions. You tell the dead to breathe. You're the one who walks through fire. You take the orphan's hand. You are the one Messiah. You are I am. You are I am. You're the one who conquers giants. You're the one who calls out kings. You shut the mouth of lions. You tell the dead to breathe. You're the one who walks through fire. You take the orphan's hand. You are the one Messiah. You are I am.
Thank you so much for joining us. And remember, we have the perfect communicator in this crisis. Don't forget, he's with you and he loves you so much. Okay.
There were some good pointers there.
Okay, cool.
I'm going to go eat some roots.
I'll leave the root eating to you.
Okay.
Episode 6.
And I'm Greg, and our chat features Cameron and Claire walking in the woods. Take it away. Let's do it again.
Okay.
Survival techniques. I totally screwed that up.
This is Greg's first time.
Okay.
Oh!
But this will save us from coming back next week and getting through the torture.
Right? Hold on. Make this go away.